Hello everyone! Let me restart the song. Welcome back to Full Invasion. This is the Empire versus Demons. And this is a very small map. I can show you real quickly if you've never seen this one before. It's been a while since I've played on it. But this is it. You can't go into that cave. That's it. You got the outside and then that little space. Not much room to retreat. So, last night at the time of recording, there was a PC gaming show at E3. The first PC gaming show that there's, I think, ever been. Which is really cool, because, you know, I like PC games. I don't know if you know this about me. I kind of cover them for a little YouTube channel that I have. And so to see them get their own gaming show was great. It was great news. The actual show... When was the first time? It was laid out like a talk show, like a late night American talk show. I say American because I'm not sure how late night shows are in other countries, because I don't watch them. Hell, I don't even watch American late night, but I've seen enough of it to know how the layout is. So you got a desk, and you got your host behind the desk, and then you got your guests coming out and sitting on couches and talking about their games. Laid out just like a late night talk show. And the show went off like 2.5 hours that way, just them bringing on guests from various gaming companies. And it was really kind of boring, and just not. I don't know, like it made my eyes glaze over. Many times. Oh my god. Where the hell's my sword? I'm dead. Perhaps trying to talk over the demons is not the best. Hold on. Let's put the sound volume way down, because demons are still way too loud. It's been a problem for a while. I mean, yeah, it's like the show wasn't anything special to it. It was hosted by Day 9, Sean something. I've seen Day 9 around before. I know he has a YouTube channel. I think he's a pretty big streamer too. I think he mostly streamed like StarCraft 2, I think is where I don't know. I know he's pretty big, but I don't know what made him big. But he seems like a cool guy. He did a pretty good job at hosting the show. He seems pretty real. Like, he didn't seem really fake at all, so that's good. But there was really no production quality to the show. They only had a couple live demos in the entire 2.5 hours of the show. And a lot of the games that they brought on I didn't really care about. So I'm just going to talk about the couple that I did. Let's see, they opened up with Killing Floor 2. That was kind of funny, because they opened up the show with Killing Floor 2, which is already out in early access. There's a Killing Room 2. Killing Floor, I think. And they were just there to talk about their impressive new blood and guts tech. So I guess inside every demon there's now going to be like blood and guts inside the demon, so when you shoot them, they're just going to start coming out. And they showed a lot of blood and guts, and I was like, oh wow, that's the way to open the show. Probably wouldn't see that on, you know, one of the main press conferences, but that was kind of funny. Still haven't even played that show yet, or movie. Oh god, game. Jesus, my mind's all muddled. But I plan on it because it looks kind of like thoughtless fun. Then at the end of the show, they closed with No Man's Sky very briefly. Again, kind of like what I talked about in yesterday's episode. I want a 45-minute to an hour just demonstration of what that game is, but there was no new gameplay. It was just that main guy who's been talking about it coming out for a couple minutes, looking like he didn't really want to be there at all. Kind of like what he looked like when he was on the Sony press conference. He just looks tired and like agitated. I'm sure something's going on behind the scenes. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe he was like, look, I'm not coming to E3, I need to finish my game. And people were like, no, you are coming to E3. Like, I don't know. He just seemed kind of agitated. But the good news out of that, even though they didn't show any new gameplay or anything, was that he announced that the No Man's Sky is coming for the PC as well as the PS4, which is cool because I thought it was just going to be a console game. And they said that when they announced the release date for the PS4, or yeah, they will also announce the release date of the PC. I don't know if that I think that's what he said, or he maybe said that they will come out on the same day. I can't remember right now. It's kind of all... Like I said, by the end of the show, my eyes were kind of glazed over because that show was really boring to watch. It's one of the two. But it's coming for the PC, which is great news, because No Man's Sky looks very interesting. And besides that, they also brought on a couple people from Blizzard. Dustin Browder, and then... Mark something, the guy with the very long hair. He's had long hair for a long time. Like, I recognize him, especially Browder, because he's been on like every BlizzCon, and I know the long hair guy's been in most of the BlizzCons, at least that I've seen. They're big to-dos in Blizzard. Anyway, but it was cool to see them come on stage, because I don't think they've really had much of a presence at E3s for the past couple years, because they're like, yo, we got our own BlizzCon, we don't need to go to E3. But so yeah, so it was cool to see them on this PC gaming show, or gaming press conference thing. And they talked about Heroes of the Storm, mostly. They were introducing the new character, King Leoric. So if you play Diablo 3, he's the boss. No, wait, no. He's not even the boss of Act 1, is he? He's like the mid-boss of Act 1. The Skeleton King, the guy with the giant mace. And his character seems pretty cool in Heroes of the Storm. I look forward to playing him when they release him. They don't think they said when he's coming out. But I think he's coming out... I'm guessing, since they're talking about him, he's going to be coming out after The Butcher comes out, which I think is June 30th is when they release The Butcher, because that's when they were doing the whole Heaven and Hell new battleground, which looks pretty cool. I guess only if you're into Heroes of the Storm, which I am. And besides that, they talked briefly about a couple of prologue missions that are coming to StarCraft 2, and that they're going to be available for everybody. Even if you've never bought StarCraft 2, these prologue missions are going to be available for everyone. They didn't announce a release date, but they did say that if you pre-order the game, StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, that's what it's called, right? If you pre-order that, you'll get access to these prologue missions earlier, but that they will eventually come out, and anyone and everyone can play them. Which I think is great. That's great news. They put work into this content, and they made it free for everybody. They didn't have to. They could have just been like, here's an extra thing if you buy... You know, Legacy of the Void, you get these prologue missions. Or they could have done something like, hey, if you play a certain amount of time in Heroes of the Storm, you'll unlock access to the prologue missions. You know, the point is they could have done something that they attached something that the player would have to do first before they could play, but they're like, no, dude. Anyone and everyone can play these prologue missions. I mean, the flip side of that is people who've never bought StarCraft can get to play these for free and then maybe get pulled into playing StarCraft later, so really it's a good marketing move on Blizzard's part. They're smart people over there. They know what they're doing. They make money. But I'm kind of excited to play these prologue missions. I think you'll be playing as mostly Zeratul, as he puts together like the prophecy of like the big bad guys coming back. I don't know. Zeratul's off doing something. That was still kind of exciting. I enjoyed the StarCraft 2 storyline. I didn't enjoy Heart of the Swarm as much as Wings of Liberty. But I'm hoping that I'll really get into Legacy of the Void when it comes out. As far as the multiplayer goes, though, I honestly could care less about the multiplayer, except for custom maps. I've always been a fan of the custom maps with the tower, like the birth of tower defense. Well, I can't say the birth. I don't know for sure, but I remember StarCraft 1, they had a bunch of tower defense types maps. I don't know if that's where they came from, or if there was tower defense before StarCraft 1. I never played a tower defense game before the StarCraft 1 custom maps, but maybe it's possible there could have been a genre before that game came out. So yeah, and that's what those two talked about. So that was exciting because I like both of those products, Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft 2. And then, I don't remember his name, but it's the head of the company that makes Elite Dangerous. He came out and he was super nervous. I think he may have like social anxiety issues because like he was having trouble presenting, and I felt bad for the guy. But anyway, he announced that their company, who made Elite Dangerous, is also making another game that they really want to make. So I thought it was going to be some kind of other war game or exploration game or something. But it's a new like roller coaster tycoon game. It's called like Planetary Coaster, I think. But if you've played Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's like that, and that was really exciting. And what? The person who made Elite Dangerous is coming out here and showing this kind of fun-looking, really cool art style tycoon game. You know, like I wasn't expecting that at all. And that's a cool trailer, and that's a cool announcement. So that was one of the coolest announcements, I think, of the show. Because I really like the Roller Coaster Tycoon games. And then honestly, like a lot of the show, I just kind of glazed over. There were some horror games. God, like for 2.5 hours, like I really don't remember much. Microsoft came on, the head of like the Microsoft game division, Phil Spencer, came on and talked about like Gears of War 1 HD or whatever is coming to PC. Their new game, Gigantic? Is it Gigantic? Something like that. It's kind of like a MOBA-inspired game that they announced at their press conference. That's going to be coming to PC. Well, Windows 10. They kept saying Windows 10 specifically, so I don't know if it's going to be backwards compatible with the previous Windows systems. You may have to get 10 for it. That seems to be a big push for them, is getting Windows 10 out the door. Go figure, they're Microsoft. Of course they're going to be pushing Windows 10, right? I mean, that was kind of cool, I guess. They, once again, are talking about how they want to be committed to the PC crowd. How Microsoft Gaming Division wants to be committed. You remember, what was it? Microsoft's... What was that terrible service? Live? Gaming Live? I can't even remember the name of it. They took it down a while ago. It was just terrible. It was like tied into your Xbox account. Like, oh my god, it was like some of the worst stuff ever. I think Dark Souls 1 had it. I think that was the last game I played that actually had it on the PC. But anyway, Microsoft has talked a big game over the years about how they are going to be committed to PC gaming. So like, this is nothing new. But at the same time, this Phil Spencer guy, he only came into the picture a couple years ago. Well, he only became like the head of their gaming division a couple years ago, and he seems to be doing good things. Seems to be, as far as I could tell. So maybe they actually will be redoubling their efforts to bring some cool PC gaming to all of us from their first-party companies. Who knows? Who knows? But that was kind of cool. Because I mean, if they're going to be doubling down on this whole PC initiative in the future, then that means at the Microsoft press conferences, we'll probably not only just get console games announcements, but we may get huge like PC announcements, like PC only announcements at like a Microsoft conference. That probably won't happen. But now there's a chance. And that's exciting for me, because I don't even own an Xbox One. This boss wave is so silly. Oh, and how did I forget? Actually, I can tell you how I forgot, because this segment was like a minute long. So they started with this trailer that showed a lot of the later Total War games. You know, Rome 2, Napoleon was in there. Maybe just, oh, and the Shogun was in there. And it was this long trailer just showing gameplay from those with like an awesome song cut over. Like, it looked sweet. It looked more enjoyable than what the Total War games actually are. They're great, don't get me wrong, but they're not like action-packed like this trailer was showing. Like, it was all, anyway. The trailer was great, but the purpose of the trailer was like at the last 5 seconds they showed actual gameplay of Total War Warhammer, and it was a bunch of like Empire halberdiers just kind of standing there, and then a griffin came down with, I don't know, some hero on top of it, came down and landed in front of them, and it did what monster-ish creatures do, and it yelled. It was like, "Rah!" And then the trailer was over. So you saw like 5 seconds of Total War Warhammer, and a couple people came on to talk about a little bit about Total War Warhammer. Like, they didn't show any additional footage. They said how, but what was cool, one of the things that was cool is that they said people like witch hunters and like mages in the world are going to be agents. So if you played a Total War game, you know about the agents in the game, how they go around and do like spy things mostly and kill people and stuff. Well, what sucks is that the agents never come into the battles in previous Total War games, but they said, unless I heard them wrong, they said that the agents not only are going to be on the campaign map, but they will also come into battles with your armies. And I'm like, yeah, because, you know, like I said, they talked about witch hunters and mages and things, but then they said they're going to be agents, and I was like, oh, so you're relegating like magic to just a new way of doing your agents? Like, oh, that's kind of whack. But then they said that, no, they'll be part of the battle, so then I was like, oh, okay, never mind, that sounds pretty cool. So that's great news. It's great news. They didn't even announce a release date. I don't even think they said like 2016, although they may have already said that before in a previous announcement. I'm not sure. But yeah, so Total War Warhammer was technically there. You saw a couple seconds of gameplay in the Griffin. That was, you know, that was exciting, but it was over quick. Like, their presentation was one of the shortest ones in that press conference. And it was, like, one of the only ones that I actually cared about. Which, so, it was kind of sad for me. But yeah, Total War Warhammer, it's still coming. I think that about does it for that. As far as the games I care about. I was hoping that, like, Bannerlord would show up at this thing. It wasn't there. I don't even know if Bannerlord's at E3 at all. I have no idea. But it wasn't at this press conference, and I was really kind of pulling through. And it was kind of funny, when the press conference was winding down, the chat was just blowing up with, like, they gotta have Gaben on there, right? Like, Gaben's gotta come on and be like, Half-Life 3, y'all. I'm like, oh, you silly chat. Yeah, Half-Life 3. Sure. Sure. It's coming. I'm sure it is. Keep shouting. I mean, heck, you know what? The people got Final Fantasy VII Remake announced this year, so maybe that's a sign, y'all. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Final Fantasy VII Remake in the prophecy was said to come ahead of Half-Life 3. You heard it here first. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Something hit me. And besides that, I did actually watch a little bit more on Halo 5. I know I was kind of lukewarm on it in yesterday's video, and maybe the day before that too. And that's just because, like I said, I have not played the fourth one, so I'm not really caught up on the story of Master Chief, so it's hard for me to get hyped for the single-player stuff. But the multiplayer thing that they showed, this new mode, I think it's called Warzone, was actually pretty cool for me. They had a little bit of MOBA elements mixed into this new zone, or this new mode. Not MOBA as in, like, there's lanes that the creeps go down, but there are AI elements to this Warzone map. You have AI helpers on your side, and of course the enemy has AI helpers on their side, defending points that you're trying to take. So, like, one person, it's going to be hard for them to go into a point and capture it because the AI buddies are going to be there. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And then they also have random bosses spawning around the map that your team can take out to get points for your team. And it's a point-based thing, so I think when you get like 1,000 points, your team wins. So, like, killing AI, killing these like boss characters helps your team win the match. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. It's kind of like Titanfall had a little bit of that, but the AI was absolute garbage. Like, they were there just to look at and fire like a bullet at. They sucked. If you never played Titanfall, the Titan AI in those matches was terrible. And I think they were supposed to be, obviously, but I wish they were harder. They were terrible. And the word is that the AI in this mode is not like Titanfall's. They're better than Titanfall's. They're still not going to be really ridiculously hard, but at least they're better than Titanfall's, and that's exciting. They also showed off like some new vehicles. That's cool, but that mode Warzone, that kind of intrigued me. If you have any desire for Halo, I would, and if you haven't heard about that already, then I suggest look up some gameplay of that. It looks pretty neat. Looked pretty neat. I may have to throw down and try to save up for an Xbox One so I can get Halo 4, which I know you can get on the Xbox 360, but I mean, if I want to get Halo 5, I might as well play Halo 4 on the Xbox One. But I don't know, like, buying the entire system just for a new Halo game, that would be like buying a PS4 for Destiny. Who would do that? Who would buy a white PS4 that would have, I don't know, let's say like a layer of dust on it because it never gets used for Destiny? Like, who would do that? Who would do that? Crazy people would. Crazy people who would play that game for only like 4 hours would. I really wanted Destiny to be great. I really did. I wanted to cover it for the channel. I wanted to get my character up to light level 35,000 or whatever. But damn it, I could not get into Destiny, and that really made me sad. Really made me sad. I just found it too boring. But apparently it's still doing stuff. I mean, they have expansions coming out in that game. They announced a Destiny expansion at E3 that I don't care about. I have this white PS4 here. Looking at it right now. just sitting there. I mean, at least I got to also play. I got to play Bloodborne on this PS3 or PS4. We saw how long I stuck to that. I did not like Bloodborne. It did have the Dark Souls stuff to it, but I didn't like the setting of Bloodborne. I didn't like the fact that there were no shields. I'm a big sword and shield guy. Feel free to, you know, call me a noob or whatever, because, you know, true Dark Souls players play with the parry only. Like, okay, or rolling. All right, whatever. I just like the look of it, of a dude with a giant fucking shield, a sword, and, you know, big ass armor going up against dragons and shit. You know, I'm that guy. But you don't get any of that with Bloodborne. You just get various amounts of different looking, like, cloth armor and awesome hats. I'll give it down. Like, they had some cool hats. But, like, I just didn't like Bloodborne. But Dark Souls 3 is coming out next year, so I'll probably play that and hopefully get way more into that than I did with Bloodborne. Because I just like the setting of the Dark Souls games a lot more than Bloodborne. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. They're moving on to the Sengoku Jidai vs. Empire, but I'm not going to watch, or I'm not going to play that right now. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.